welcome back to Realtors on the Road. I'm Kara and I'm here with Joe Cubera from KW Domain. And today we are in downtown Birmingham. It's a beautiful fall day and we're catching up with Joe. This is a common place that Joe will take his clients, or actually any community that his clients are looking in. He usually likes to walk them through, and Birmingham happens to be where he grew up as well.
That's right.
So we love it. So thanks for coming on today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So my first question that I want to know is, walk us through your strategy on when you help a client buy a home. What is your strategy when you first get to know new clients?
So, I think I always start with what's your basic criteria? Depending on which part is more important to people, it might be square footage, it might be location, it has to have a garage, or it must have a basement, or it's got to have this, or a bigger dining room than what we have. So we want to listen to that. Mm-hmm. I am a big believer of getting into the homes also and making that part of the defining the criteria process. Let's start with a broad criteria. Let's visit those types of properties, and then we can narrow it as we've seen more, because to me, it's very important to know what you do like, but it's also pretty important to know, hey, what don't you like? What don't you want to see more of?
Yeah, what's the deal breaker? That's huge.
So that's kind of how we do that. We start with that initial criteria, start looking at homes, and we tailor it as we go.
So Joe and I were actually catching up early in the week, and he was telling me about clients that he was working with, actually within the month, so it was super recent, that were coming from out of state or relocating from out of state. And what they originally, their basic criteria that they had, actually ended up being completely different. So tell us a little bit about that story.
So a lot of times people have an idea of where they want to live in Metro Detroit. But a handful of times a year, I have a client who was referred to me. In this case, it was a family member who said, we have these friends, they're from the New York City area, they were in New Jersey, they're relocating to Detroit. So I'm listening to them, and they don't know, they have no thoughts on anything, they don't have any preferences, but they're telling me what they want. They want to be close to a lot of downtown. They want to be around cars and noise. They're like, we really want to continue to kind of hear the same sounds and the same types of feels that we had in New York City. So in my head, I'm thinking, all right, there's some nice spots close to downtown Berkeley. There's some nice spots close to downtown Royal Oak. I also brought up Birmingham. The husband was also working in downtown Detroit, so I wanted to keep it close to that. And
so you're checking all the boxes. Yep. You're like, I got this.
They come into town, and it's one of those tough things where they're going to come into town for one weekend, and we're going to try to get a home that weekend. Always tough, but we've done it. And then we show them. I showed them, I think, 10 houses the first day, and then that night, the next morning, they texted me and said, "How come you didn't add the town of Rochester Hills?" And I said, "Well,
it's a little quieter.
A little quieter.
For those that don't know, it's a little quieter."
And they said, "Well, we love how far the homes are. The big yards. All the wildlife. There was deer. It was so quiet. It was so nice. We had breakfast there. We went to a cider mill. It's just a slower pace." And I said, "That's great. And if you like that, let's go." So it was like one of those situations where they told me everything, but they came into town and they went another direction. They absolutely love it.
I think it's really cool that you're able to listen and assess and pivot with them. And I think that it says a lot for clients to make sure that they're with the right realtor like yourself that is willing to listen and pivot and go a complete different direction with them and help them get there as well. So kudos to you. That's awesome. What are the actual features that you're hearing a lot of that people want right now?
I think kind of three come to mind, and I think that they may have come from the the pandemic era, but now they're people really enjoy them still to this day, and that would be the home office has become really important. I think that not everybody's working from home all the time, but they're allowed to work from home multiple times a week, even some weeks per month. So that having that space to do that in your home has become really important. And we've seen that be high on that criteria list. The other one is kind of the outdoor space, the outdoor entertaining space, decks, patios. People really are spending a lot more time at home or entertaining at home, and they really want to enjoy that while they're there. So that's become pretty important. And then the third, which has always been important, but I feel like more so in the last 2 to 3 years, is the finished basement. It doesn't add to your overall or to your livable square footage, but your overall square footage, it gets that much bigger. We live in those basements just like we would a living room, a family room. They'll have bathrooms, workout areas, a lot of extra space for the family, and it's it's become really important to people that are still looking for a home.
Yeah. Well, I love it. Well, thank you so much for catching up with us today. We appreciate you. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe.